It's the first playoff meeting between these two teams since the Lakers' last NBA title run back in 2020. LeBron James still without Luka Doncic and Austin Reaves. And the Rockets now without Kevin Durant for game one. Mid-first quarter without the stars. Well, this star, LeBron James, lobs it up to DeAndre Ayton for the slam. Lakers up 4 after 1. LeBron with 8 assists in the first quarter. That's the most in any quarter of his playoff career. Mid-second quarter, LeBron swings this one to Rui Hachimura, knocks down the turnaround elbow J. LeBron now up to 10 assists. Lakers up 2 going into the break. LeBron adding himself to the record books. Mid-third quarter, LeBron backing down his defender and finishing underneath. LeBron finished with 19 points, 8 boards, and 11. Now early fourth, Luke Kennard. Contested three is money. Lakers up 13 a few possessions later. Kennard starts the drive, pulls back. Hey, how about that? Lakers up 16 a minute later. Back to Kennard. It's a Kennard kind of night. Because how about another triple? Why not? Start with Luka and Reaves out and finish with a playoff career high 27 points of a perfect 5 of 5 from three-point land. The Lakers win 107-98. And we're now joined by CBS Sports NBA analyst John Gonzalez. And John, this series was supposed to be star heavy, but game one ended up becoming a test of depth and composure instead. No Kevin Durant, who added himself to Luka and Austin Reaves, who were sidelined on the other side. But many people didn't think the Lakers would offensively be able to keep up, missing two guys who together they average over 56 points combined. But I want to ask you, what impressed you most with the Lakers win tonight?
Yeah, you said many people. I'm many people in this scenario. I didn't expect it to go this way. What impressed me most was, take a wild guess on this one, right? It's LeBron James. I thought LeBron was going to have a monster scoring effort, and instead he was just sort of Mr. Facilitator all over the floor. He goes for 19, 8 rebounds, and 13 assists, Kiana. He had 8 assists in the first quarter. That's the most assists in a single quarter in playoff history for LeBron, which is saying something because he's always like setting another record, right? But then beyond that, like we talked about this pregame, the Lakers are so thin. Even when they have Luka and Austin Reaves, they're painfully thin. I thought, okay, this is too much to ask even of LeBron James, because what are you doing? You're graduating Rui Hachimura back into the starting lineup and Luke Kennard. I thought forget about that. That's not going to work. Boy, did it work. All 5 players for the Lakers, all 5 starters for the Lakers scored in double figures, including and especially Luke Kennard, who had a game high 27 points, went 5 for 5 from deep. When the Rockets don't have an answer for Luke Kennard, the Rockets are in trouble here. And then one more thing that impressed me from the Lakers' perspective here. They held the Rockets under 100 points. This is not a good defensive team, the Lakers. They were 20th in defensive rating. The Rockets have some problems right now. They got to thank God for the Rockets have 3 days until game 2 because they cannot get Kevin Durant back soon enough.
Yeah, I'm going to dive a little bit more into that in just a moment. But the Rockets, they did come in with one of the league's best defenses in late season momentum. But game one, it did ask them to replace KD's 26 points per game on the fly. But how much of this do you chalk up to no Durant, and how much of it is on the Rockets themselves for just not being sharp enough in the opener?
Yes. We'll take both of those. We'll start with Kevin Durant. I mean, you could see the flow of the offense just ground to a halt. It looked like molasses. People are looking around going, who's going to take the shot? What's this offense supposed to look like? And you could see how reliant they are on Kevin Durant, not just because of that scoring average, but also to initiate the offense. I mean, when they lost Fred VanVleet early in this, before the season even began, with an ACL injury, that was one of their main facilitators and creators, right? So now all of a sudden that falls to Kevin Durant. And tonight's game without Kevin Durant, they really didn't have anybody to initiate that offense. And ostensibly it could be Reed Shepherd. He had a terrible night shooting. Everybody on the Rockets had a terrible night shooting. They went, 38% from the floor? Brutal. I expected Alperen Sengun, who's actually a very good passer, to maybe facilitate more, run the offense through him. He had a brutal night. Amin Thompson had a brutal night. Just up and down that roster, nobody could get anything going for the Rockets. So yeah, they really need Kevin Durant to come back, not just because they need that extra added scoring punch, but because they need somebody to organize the offense and have everybody facilitated. And without him, they don't have it.
Yeah, absolutely. But now when we're looking at this Lakers team and you're considering the formula that they did use to get this win, can they count on that again, or do they need a near perfect efficiency game to try to steal another one?
Well, in the same way that the Rockets are hoping that that 3 day in between game 1 and 2 will help Kevin Durant come back, I think the Lakers would be really thrilled if one or both of Luka and Austin Reaves could come back because, look, LeBron is LeBron, and you're always going to get a supreme effort from him in any game, let alone in a playoff game. I wonder, I mean, DeAndre Ayton, he was really good tonight. I think you could probably duplicate that. I'm a little skeptical that Luke Kennard can go for 27 again in perfect shooting. He is a great three-point shooter, but they've asked him to do so much since the other two guys went down. He had a triple-double, his first ever career triple-double against Dallas about a week ago. And, all of a sudden I'm thinking, like, is this actually Luke Kennard's role? Is Luke Kennard now a critical piece of the Lakers? I'm a little skeptical on that, but hey, kudos to the Lakers who, again, that is a thin roster. I didn't anticipate that they would even be in this game, let alone winning it comfortably. And beyond that, just to harp on this point one more time, to hold the Rockets under 100 points, the Rockets had the 8th best offense in the NBA this season. No Kevin Durant, okay, but you still have a guy like Alperen Şengün, who is an all-star and outside all-NBA probably won't make it. Amon Thompson, who is super talented, can't shoot, but super talented, can do anything on the floor, and Reed Shepherd, who can shoot. And all of them were held in check tonight. So that's a full effort at both ends of the floor for the Lakers.
A thin roster, you're already thin, and without two of your stars, you're holding one of the best offenses in the league to under 100 points, surprising many people. And the Lakers, they're currently up 1-0 in this series. We'll see how they can continue this momentum into game 2 and whether maybe the Lakers can get some health back and also Kevin Durant on the other side. As always, John Gonzalez, I know you'll be talking about it with me. Appreciate you. You know who else we'll be talking about? That man. LeBron James just always, like John Gonzalez said, after he's somehow adding himself to the history books. Well, it might not have been a lights out night, but he still added his name to some list. The most assists in a game at the age 41 or older in playoff history. 13. He had 8 assists in the first quarter alone. He's like a fine wine, ladies and gentlemen, just a fine wine that's looking for another title to add to its resume. Smell that? It's playoff basketball at MSG. Knicks looking to win a playoff series for the 4th straight season, taking on a Hawks team that's looking for their first playoff series win since 2021. Late first cue, and Jalen Brunson drives and finishes with a contested lay. Knicks up 6 after the first quarter. Brunson had 19 of his game-high 28 points in the first quarter alone. Now mid-second, C.J. McCollum attacks, shows off the moves, and finishing with the circus lay to put the Hawks down 2 at the half. McCollum finishing with a team-high 26. So we'll push ahead to the 4th. New York now up 8. It's Karl-Anthony Towns time. Pulls up from deep, money. Knicks up 11. A minute later, Cat this time drives and finishes with a hoop in the harm. New York up 14 after the made free throw. Knicks fans inside and outside loving it. Under 5 to play, Cat takes the wide open 3, knocks it down, capping a 13-2 run. He finished with 25 points and 8 boards as the Knicks, they go on to win 113-102. Taking a 1-0 series lead in the first run. All the celebrities out for this one. Ben Stiller certainly hype about it. But you know what? Who's hype about this performance? Jalen Brunson. Because take a look at the most games with 25 or more points in the same game for Knicks teammates in playoff history. Well, Brunson and Towns tie in with John Starks and Patrick Ewing with 4 of those games in the postseason. But Brunson, he's not new to this. He's true to this. He's done it before. 3 times with R.J. Barrett and another 3 with Dante DiVincenzo. They'll look to have another big night as game 2. That's set for Monday. And we're now joined by CBS Sports NBA analyst John Gonzalez. And John, if I'm being honest, I realize there's some criticism that was surrounding the Knicks, especially just considering maybe some of those inconsistencies we saw kind of later in the second half of the season. But I want to get your take. You left game 1 after this win over the Hawks feeling what?
If you're the Knicks, you're feeling great about this. I mean, my hesitation about the Knicks was that they didn't play very well against teams that were 500 or better this season. They actually were break even, an even record against those teams. And among the teams that have the seven best odds to win it all, they were last, right? So that kind of like, I was like, all right, well, the Hawks are a good team. The Hawks, since the All-Star break, had the fourth best record after only the Spurs, the Thunder, and the Celtics. I didn't think this was a great matchup for them. And then what happens tonight? Everybody at MSG came to play tonight. The crowd, the entire team. As you mentioned, Jalen Brunson was excellent from the beginning. I thought the Hawks did a better job guarding him in the second half. But then what happened was it switched, because I was ready to come on here, Kiana, and kill Karl Anthony Towns for being terrible in the first half. He had a monster second half. Once he got aggressive going downhill, that's really when things picked up for him. He goes for 25 points, 10 of 10 from the free throw line. He's so good once he gets to the line, and they have a major size advantage. So that's a problem for the Hawks. And if I'm the Hawks, I'm a little bit worried about those live ball turnovers. The Knicks also won in transition. And then you got a guy like Josh Hart who just does a little bit of everything. You look at it, you're thinking like, okay, his numbers can't be that good. Then he goes for a double-double with 3 steals, and he really was playing excellent defense on Jalen Johnson. So if I'm the Knicks, that's as good as you could possibly hope for in game 1.
Yeah, you're talking about Jalen Brunson. He certainly gave them that playoff jolt right away. You talked about Karl Anthony Towns picking things up there in the second half. But what impressed you more? Was it the 19-point first quarter for Brunson, or was it the way that maybe New York settled back in after Atlanta? They did punch back there for a good chunk of that first half.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sort of never surprised when Jalen Brunson gets hot and gets going, and he certainly was in the first half. Again, the Hawks did a better job in the second half. What impressed me most, and Stan Van Gundy called this out on the broadcast, and I thought he was absolutely right, was the Knicks defense, because they really limited the Hawks. And all of a sudden in that second half, even though the Hawks went on a run in the fourth quarter, I'm thinking to myself, where's the offense coming from here, right? Because Jalen Johnson has been excellent this season. Nickeil Alexander-Walker did not have a great shooting night. I expect that to improve for him. But CJ McCollum goes for 24 points, and you look up, and the Knicks are still winning that really comfortably. And especially when they go into the fourth quarter, they're now they only have 2 losses all season long when they have a lead going into the fourth quarter. They have the best fourth quarter defense in the NBA and the best fourth quarter point differential. So if that defense keeps playing like this, it was suspect earlier in the season. Then they win the NBA Cup and take a little bit of a dip. And then from there on, the defense has been really excellent. And if that's the kind of defense they're going to play for the rest of these playoffs, they might be onto something, Kiana.
Okay, it'll be something worth seeing. But on the other end of this matchup, I mean, the Hawks, they will get a day's rest, but they're right back at the Garden on Monday for game 2. Let's say we're looking at this Knicks defense, but how can the Hawks even things up? And that's before taking the series to Atlanta if, say, the Knicks do continue to play the way they are.
Yeah, so there's a couple of things here that they need to address. And I thought that the Knicks would come out gangbusters in game 1 with the energy in Madison Square Garden and the crowd and the fans bing bonging all over the place, right? So I thought it would be difficult for them. I do think, though, that this is going to be a good series because the Hawks are a good team. Now, what do they need to do? Well, for one, they need to control those live ball turnovers. That killed them tonight. And the other thing is they really want to play at a quicker pace, and they want to be the team that wins in transition and on the fast break. That wasn't the case tonight. The Knicks won in transition, and the Knicks won on the fast break. So they got to really change that because they have a size disadvantage, especially in the front court where Onyeka Okongwu is a really good player, and I like him at center. He's got a big, long wingspan, but they have an obvious size disadvantage with Karl Anthony Towns and also Mitchell Robinson. So they got to play quick. They got to get their shots to fall, and they've got to really control those turnovers, and then they'll have a chance. But, they're on the road to start these 2 games. It doesn't surprise me that the Knicks got out to a hot start, but the Hawks have to be better in game 2 for sure.
Absolutely. Nonetheless, it was a tough crowd there at Madison Square Garden. We'll look to bounce back on Monday for game 2 of this series. And hey, an opportunity to tie this series up because like you mentioned, it's still a good Hawks. John Gonzalez bringing the best. We appreciate you. Hey, speaking of bringing the best, take a look at the most points in a playoff quarter in the Knicks play-by-play era history. Jalen Brunson, 19 points just in the first quarter alone of this game, getting the Knicks off to a hot start. Hey, he had another outing. It was his 21-point quarter back in 2024. He's had some hot quarters. Can he keep them going in game 2?